Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I'm talking to you about my top 10 comic picks for September 14th, 2022. But first, please be sure to subscribe, like the video, and comment down below what you're most excited for this week. I have some really great hitters. A lot of these are already in my top 10 comics of 2022, so I am just dying to read these and dying to talk about them. And let me know if any of these made your list as well. Starting with number 10, it's going to be A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance, number 11. Now, I have a saying with this book. I believe the main character looks a lot like Benedict Wong, who plays Wong in the MCU, and I call this book Wong Place, Wong Time, because it really feels like that. Wong has been in the wrong place at the wrong time this entire time, and now that this is the series finale, I am incredibly devastated that it is ending, but I am emotionally happy as well and invested in the storyline. I totally see this comic becoming a movie at some point, and it looks like Xavier is now grown up, and it looks like just, some poisons take some time to work its magic. So it looks like he has something in the works for the very end of this series, and I'm really excited to see this roller coaster of a ride come to an end. In my number 9 spot, it's going to go to Predator number 2. Now, I actually really enjoyed Predator number 1. I really liked the main character, the human, who is getting his revenge plot, and I really liked the Predators. I thought they were great action, and I'm really hoping for the same thing for issue number 2. It looks like the main girl, Theta, she is on her way and crash lands onto a tundra planet. She's still looking for the Predator that killed her family, and now in this cold, desolate planet, she is now having to fight off more predators. And I really like that. It's a simple story, and that's all I really want. I don't want too much human backstory, because I want to focus more on the predators. And I think hopefully this run is going to do that, and I hope I really have a blast with this issue, because honestly, I'm in for the ride, and I really liked what Ed Bryson has done so far, so hopefully he keeps it up. In my number 8 spot, it's going to go to Edge of Spider-Verse number 3. This is 3 of 5, and man, I've really been having a nice ride. It's been nice to have Dan Slott back on Spider-Man again, and I think this one's going to be so much fun. This might be my favorite issue, because it's going to deal with Spider-Man India, but also Night Spider, who looks a lot like Black Cat, who is one of my favorites. So I'm really hoping that the Black Cat Spider-Man is just as cool as I'm hoping she is. I love the covers, and I'm really excited to get more and different unique Spider-Mans. In my number 7th spot, it's going to go to Dark Spaces Wildfire number 3. I think Scott Snyder is doing a killer job on his independence, let alone this IDW new one, which I did not see coming. When you read this, you do not see Scott Snyder in this at all, and I really like that. I find that really unique and surprising, and, when you pick up a Scott Snyder book, you don't want it to be the same thing over and over again, and I loved that about this. So it gives you a different taste of these characters, of this world, and at the end of issue 2, I'm hoping issue 3 is a banger of an issue, because they are on now their heist mission, and something dark is gonna happen, and I know it. It's gonna affect the entire trajectory of this heist, and it seems like this may only be the beginning. So I'm really, really excited for this, and I can't wait to see how our heroes / villains save the day. In my number 6 spot, it's going to have to go to Dua Powerbomb number 4. Now, I said this before on an earlier episode, but I'm not into sports, I'm not into wrestling, but my God, has Daniel Warren Johnson got me into wrestling. This comic is something else, and it's so intriguing and fascinating every time I read it. The fact that we are now going for the Death Life tournament, this just seems like crazier and higher stakes than ever before, and now that our main heroes are going to be pitted against Sun and Steel in this next issue, it just gets me hyped. I'm ready. So I just have so much fun reading this comic, and I feel like that's how I love to feel when I read comics. I read comics to go to this fantasy world in this nice, whimsical place. And, you know, Daniel Warren Johnson really, really smashes that. And I absolutely love him for it. In my number 5 spot, it's going to go to Daredevil number 3. Chip Zdarsky smashing it on his Daredevil run. His Daredevil run has been one of my favorite Marvel runs in an incredibly long time, and this new run is no exception. It is going to be a killer of an issue, too, because the more that Matt Murdock and Elektra are trying to build up their team to go up against the Hand, the more of the heroes and, like, the Avenger-esque heroes see Daredevil as a threat. So he's going to be on the outs of them yet again. They just don't see his logic into going to killing the Hand. And, you know, it's a big deal to, like, murder people, but it's also a big deal that the Hand keeps, you know, murdering a shit ton of people and then resurrecting them and doing all kinds of crazy shit. So I am on Team Daredevils, and I can't freaking wait for this. In my number 4 spot, it's going to go to Love Everlasting number 2. This is that Tom King Image comic, and I really liked issue number 1. I thought I was such a mystery. I didn't exactly know what was going on, but we do know our main character, Joan, is waking up in these romance novels, and she's just getting lost, but when she reawakes in another one, she remembers her past life in the previous ones, and this one seems no exception. She's going to be thrown into 1920 with her love, Roger, and things are going to start to crumble in this world, maybe even bloodshed. Who knows what Joan is going to be up to or what she is willing to do to escape this crazy life. So I'm really looking forward to this. It seems like such a fun ride, and hopefully this makes my top 10 soon because I'm really enjoying it. In my number 3 spot, it's going to go to Midnight Suns number 1. Now, this is a mini-series from Marvel, and it was kind of going to be paired up with the video game, but the video game just keeps getting delayed, and probably for good reason. So I'm very, very interested in this comic, though. My main reason, I love 2 characters in this roster of crazy people. Zoe Laveau, who is from Strange Academy. I'm really excited to see more of her, especially because we've only gotten a few chapters of her in Strange Academy, so to have her expand and what she really means to this team is going to be incredibly interesting. I'm also incredibly excited to see Kushla, the Spirit Rider, and she has been easily one of my favorite ghostwriters in the last couple of years. I think she's incredibly unique and exciting. But that's not all. You're also going to have Magic, Wolverine, Blade, and Nico from Runaways. So it is a pretty stacked, solid team. There is some great covers by David Nakayama, and I am ready to see shit hit the fan, hopefully, because that's what I'm expecting from this crazy Magic team of duos. So hopefully this is a really fun ride and not just like a snooze fest. So I have really high hopes for this, and I'm really hoping this is a great comic. In my number 2 spot, it's going to go to Batman vs. Robin number 1. Now, this is spinning out of both Batman Superman World's Finest and the Shadow War. Slowly but surely, father and son have been drifting apart. They have becoming more and more unlike each other and at odds more and more at each other's necks. However, the Ra's al Ghul's family has let out the devil Nezza, and Nezza has gotten his hold on Robin, and now Robin is pitted against his father yet again. I mean, it's gonna be crazy, it's gonna be epic, and okay, my main thing about this and why it's so high up here is because in the previews, you see Alfred coming back to life. Now, I don't know if this is just a trick of this devil and he's just trying to make it seem like Alfred's back, or if Alfred's really back, because I really want Alfred back. I love Tom King's Batman run, but the fact that he was forced to kill Alfred is just like, oh, stab in the heart, I swear. I love Alfred, I love his relationship with Bruce, and I really, really miss it. So I'm hoping this issue brings him back. I think that would be a great great issue. Now, before I get to my number one, I have a couple of comics that are releasing this week that I just wanted to point out. Amazing Spider-Man number 9. If you're really liking this new run, I highly recommend keeping it up because it comes out every 2 weeks. It's kind of tough. Axe Judgment Day number 4. We're getting closer and closer to the end. Who will be judged? Bloodborne Lady of Lanterns number 2. If you really like that Bloodborne comic, it had so much of the game, and Bunn did such a great job with the writing and the lore of the Bloodborne, so I've really enjoyed that. Seven Sons number 4. Jay Lee doing a great job on this image run. I am on the edge of my seat every issue, so I've loved this. And a new Vampirella Mind Warp number 1. Seems very 70s-esque style, so I'm interested to see where that goes. And my number one spot, though, has to go to none other. If you know me, you know my number one is Bone Orchard Mythos Black Feathers. 10,000 Black Feathers, to be exact. I am so hyped for this comic. I love Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino. They are my favorite team up in any comic dynamic. And I really have been loving this Bone Orchard Mythos lore they started with the Passageway, and now we're going into this Black Feathers. I am so hyped. I think this is going to be fantastic. If you've liked Gideon Falls, Primordial, and now the Passageway, you're really, really going to want to get this. It's going to be creepy, but it's also going to be very interesting. So it basically centers around Trish and Jackie. They're best friends, and they're also avid gamers. But when the line between reality and their fantasy tend to blur by an evil darkness, can they be the heroes of their own story? And that just sounds so creepy. I'm a gamer myself. If I had my gaming world start to mesh with my reality, I'd be freaking the fuck out. I'd be like, nope, I'm out. I'm not doing this. So I'm really excited to see how this universe is going to start to intertwine and unravel. And honestly, the covers on these are just so nice. I can't help but to just absolutely want all of them. So I'm so hyped for this comic. I hope you guys are too, and I'm dying to know what you're picking up. Be sure to check out all these comics and many more at your local comic shop this Wednesday, September 14th, 2022. Have a great day.